How many of you who are here, present with us, are related to Mitch and Leslie through their medical work? And I know Baycare and Morton Plant is watching you. We can't see you, but you can see us, so we're including you as well as we think of you today. We've heard many words, and there's still more words to come. The next phase of words speak to their Mitch and Leslie's Jewish life commitments and the choices that they made for their children in encouraging them in Jewish life. So first we're going to hear from Dr. Shuli Reuben Schwartz, who's the Dean of Liss College at the Jewish Theological Seminary. But I also want to acknowledge the presence of the Dean of the Columbia College of General Studies, Lisa Rosen-Metsch, who's here with us today as well.
As others have said, there are no words for this unspeakable, senseless tragedy. But words overflow when I think about Hannah Weiss, the Weiss that I knew best. Hannah was a sophomore in both Columbia University School of General Studies and Liss College, the Jewish Theological Seminary's undergraduate school. She lit up her class, Liss College, JTS, Columbia, New York City, and many, many more communities. That light, along with those of her immediate family, were extinguished terribly prematurely. And we, on Morningside Heights, join everyone here today in heartbreak. Chancellor Eisen, Chief Operating Officer Mark Gary, and Hannah's advisor at JTS, Dean Jonathan Lerner, along with President Lee Bollinger and Dean Lisa Rosen-Metsch, who's here with me today, all join me in expressing heartfelt anguish at this unfathomable loss. What can we do but shout from the rooftops, as so many of us are doing today, so that more will know about these extraordinary lives? And for me, so that more will know what a rising star Hannah was, so that more will continue her passions, sustain her projects, and work to achieve her goals. Focused on making the world a better place, and especially on issues of sustainability, food justice, and tikkun olam, Hannah hoped to major in sustainable development and Jewish thought. Her commitment to our program reflected a deep yearning to challenge herself intellectually while developing tangible skills and an increasingly sophisticated understanding of the Jewish values that would propel her life's work. Her ambitions were vast. I learned last week from a family member that Ari hoped to become President of the United States one day. But given Hannah's love of goats, it's not surprising that she harbored a secret dream of becoming Secretary of Agriculture one day. And these ambitions were matched by her larger-than-life personality. I've heard from so many students, alumni, and others this past week who've shared moving recollections of their encounters with Hannah. It's clear that she had that uncanny ability to make each person feel that they had a uniquely powerful relationship with her and know that they emerged a better person for it. And it's obvious that Hannah took after her parents, and that both she and her brother, and they all had that ability. Hannah was that student who cheerfully volunteered to help those who were struggling academically. She was genuine, honest, humble, real, thoughtful, passionate, and kind. And Hannah had a playful side as well. A friend recalls leaving her for a moment on a hot sunny day in Tel Aviv as she stood guard over their rental car. When he returned, he found her on the roof of the car, sunning herself and taking a selfie. Another friend remarked, Hannah was the 3 C's, not just cool, calm, and collected, but also creative, conscientious, and caring. Walking together to Hillel for the final Friday night services of the semester on a cold, snowy night in New York, Hannah noticed that her friend wasn't wearing a hat. She promptly took hers off and attempted to put it on his head. She didn't care about not having a hat for herself. She just wanted those around her to be comfortable and happy. We can't think about Hannah without thinking about her passion for social justice, tikkun olam. So where did that come from? Thanks to a classmate who interviewed Hannah for a paper on social and ethical contributions to society, we can hear her own words on what drove her to action in the name of Judaism. She said, "It comes from a place of knowing that I come from privilege and feel bad for those with less fortune. I have a deep sense of obligation, a responsibility. It comes from a place of seeing those who don't care and seeing those who are apathetic and wanting to remedy that. It also comes from a place of wanting to help others gain control of their lives." When asked, what is the main goal of social action, Hannah explained, "It's like God. You'll never know if God exists or not. Similarly, you'll never know if you'll be able to repair the world, but you can at least devote your life to trying." I think it sends a very similar message to the core message of Judaism, that you can impact the lives of individuals and the individuals around them. It sends a message that you can change the world from any sector of life that you choose to work or do in life. What is life if you're not trying to be the best that you can be? And what is life if you're not devoting yourself to something that is bigger than yourself? And devote herself tirelessly, Hannah did, and we admired and loved her so. To give you an idea of the tremendous impact Hannah had during her all-too-brief college years, here's a no doubt incomplete list of her involvements. She co-founded Sustainable Craft to introduce sustainability initiatives to Columbia Hillel. She was a research associate at Hunter College in their Food Policy Center. She served as an associate producer for the Eating Matters podcast on the Heritage Radio Network. She taught religious school at Congregation B'nai Jeshurun, where she shared her passions for social justice with the next generation. She volunteered at Harlem Grown, which operates local urban farms and worked to increase access to and knowledge of healthy food for Harlem residents. At the Fall List College retreat, dozens of us volunteered at Harlem Grown, and I remember Hannah beaming as we entered that space that embodied her passions. She eased us into our tasks, exhibiting her trademark enthusiasm and generosity of spirit as she led the way and encouragingly cheered us on. Hannah was serving as this year's List College greening intern, and not surprisingly, she was brimming with ideas 4 months before the internship even started. During the fall semester, with much perseverance and many meetings, Hannah played an instrumental role in revolutionizing the composting process in our residence hall. Thanks to her focused efforts, the New York City Department of Sanitation will begin collecting composting right from the residence hall. Hannah somehow convinced her friends that it was a fun Sunday activity to drag the composting to the nearest farmer's market. And now they'll come and pick it up. She was appreciative every step of the way, as she wrote just 5 weeks ago to the administrators who helped effect this change. Hey, I saw the compost bins in Goldsmith today from the Department of Sanitation, and I almost cried with joy. I'm so happy this worked out. Thanks for working with me to make it happen. And who can forget Hannah cooking organic vegetables from the CSA to support local farms, or walking into an event with her bright smile, curly hair, and signature clothing look. And, as I did last week, I'm wearing this funky necklace today in her honor. She always carried her own utensils and her mason jar, which swung from her shoulder in the special holder that she had, all so that she wouldn't increase her carbon footprint by using disposables. Hannah saw herself as an agent of positive change, someone who'd always push the envelope in pursuit of progress and social change. One of the questions in the interview with Hannah focused on happiness. She said, "Happiness is having the freedom to do what you want without infringing upon the rights of other people. Happiness is living with other people in a loving way, in a way that creates a sense of community and well-being. Happiness has to do with how much you have fulfilled, and giving back is fulfilling to me." As you heard, Hannah was bright, articulate, caring, passionate, and she approached the world with happiness. She wisely understood how to live a good life, insightful, way beyond her years. Hannah lived her short span of 19 years to the fullest. We mourn the loss of this remarkable individual and grieve the potential she will never have the chance to realize. But we'll honor her memory by striving to carry on her legacy. In the 11 days since the death of Hannah and her family, the Liss College and Columbia Barnard communities have already begun to work on new initiatives to honor her memory. And after hearing me talk about Hannah at last week's memorial service, a pediatric practice colleague of Leslie's, who's now in Denver, reached out. He said, "I'm one of countless people across the country who've been devastated by the Weiss family's catastrophic death. I sadly only knew Hannah a little, but I'm also very interested in food injustice, and in the wake of their deaths, I'm committed to do more tikkun olam because Hannah and her family are not here to do it themselves." The whole mason jar as water bottle being Hannah's trademark thing was really cool. I decided to immediately give up plastic water bottles, and I now need to up my own game to honor her and her family. We all do. May the blessings of Hannah's all too short life multiply manyfold through the countless people whose lives she deeply touched. Tihi nishmata tzrura b'tzrua ha'chaim. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life, and may we ensure that her soul and the soul of her entire family are bound up in the bond of the living through our own efforts to sustain the passions that they all held dear.